Another day, another fourth quarter come from behind victory for the 76ers. This one coming in Paul George's debut against his former team in the LA Clippers as Philadelphia overcame a 10-point deficit to start the fourth. We'll talk about Paul George, how I think he looked in his debut, some other takeaways from this Sixers versus Clippers game as well. Before we get into talking about that game, Sixers setting some NBA records early on here this season. Can we set a record here today on the show? The most likes we've recorded on a show so far this calendar year, 460. Can we beat that number? Show the bosses here at Chat Sports that Sixers fans are die hard. Hit that thumbs up icon. Like the video. Without further ado, let's get into today's show. Another exciting one for the Sixers. Got off to a slow start against James Harden and the Clippers, but able to fight their way back late in this game. Philadelphia has been the best fourth quarter team in the NBA all season long. That showed once again here last night as the Sixers moved to 8-5. It's a competitive Eastern Conference so far this year to start. So Sixers currently slotted in that 6th seed, obviously very early, right? Not a lot of games separating these teams. Detroit, really the only team that's truly separated themselves. They've won 10 in a row. 2 of those wins coming over the Sixers. They've been great, but everybody else, really from Cleveland on down to Orlando here, 2 through 10, very tightly bunched up. The Sixers right now in that playoff mix, a big win over a struggling Clippers team. And of course, this was Paul George's season debut. His first game in well over 200 actual days. Missed the first 12 games of the season. Obviously recovering from that arthroscopic surgery on his knee that he had back in July. And look, we'll talk about Paul George. Started off well, hit his first three-pointer of the game, then came down next possession, got fouled on a 3, hit a couple of those free throws. The numbers don't look fantastic, right? Shot just 2 of 9 from the field, shot just 1 of 4 from 3. But as I'll get into here on today's show, I think he actually looked pretty good and played better than the numbers might indicate. And remember, a similar conversation that we talked about with Jared McCain. It has been 259 days since Paul George has last played a real NBA game, and he didn't get any preseason action. He hasn't been really playing at all. Obviously, he's been practicing in full, but being back out there on the floor, it's a whole nother story. So you got to cut him some slack when it's his first time out there, similar to Jared McCain. And George talked about it because he did look a little bit rusty, saying, look, it felt great to finally play basketball again. It was a long journey, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of hiccups, but it felt good to finally get out there. I felt good, just rusty, but I felt good. And the shot was not falling for Paul George, right? After that first three-pointer of the game, didn't make another 3, shot just 2 of 9 from the field, but I actually mostly liked what I saw from Paul George in last night's game. Even though the shot wasn't falling, he was showing that he could impact this Sixers team during these games in so many other ways than just making shots, which is huge, especially as he is ramping up and getting his legs back under him, getting his shot form back under him. The biggest thing for him, he was moving well, and that's really all you want to see in his first game back. But again, it's not just what he does with the ball in his hands and scoring the basketball. I thought he rebounded well. I thought he passed well, and just his presence out there on the floor is so important for the Sixers team. You take a look at this image on your screen right here. You see VJ Edgecombe coming off the screen from Andre Drummond. What you see is, on the other side of the floor, Trendon Watford out by the three-point line. This defender here is able to play off of Watford starting at the 4 because Watford not really a threat from outside the arc, so you can help a little bit, help on the drive, so VJ has a tougher decision to make. But when you insert Paul George into the lineup, what you'll notice here, a pretty similar play. No screen, but you see the player VJ driving in on that right side of the floor. You see Nick Batum, former Sixer, shout out, guarding Paul George out there on the perimeter. He can't help quite as much because he has to stay locked on to Paul George out there. Shout out to Kyle Neubeck for pointing this out on his Twitter today. But you saw it throughout the game, right? Even if he wasn't making shots, his presence and the threat of him being a good shooter out there just opens up so many more driving lanes and opens up the offense for the 76ers team. Now, of course, talking about Paul George, first game back, how does he respond to playing in a game. Only played about 20 minutes in this one, kind of similar to Joel Embiid, where he played about a 5-6 minute stint at the start of the game, came out, did that pretty much the rest of the game a couple more times. Nurse said that Paul George was a full participant today. He responded well to that first game. Now, he's not going to play in both of the Sixers' upcoming back-to-back games on Wednesday against the Raptors, Thursday against the Bucks. TBD which game he does end up playing in, but good to know that he did practice in full and that the knee did respond well to him being out there. Cal Neubeck as well, relaying the full Sixers injury report from practice today. And we're going to get some more clarity on Joel Embiid here in a little bit. Of course, I'll update you guys on my Twitter when that news does come out, so that's why you give me a follow down there. But of course, starting with Oubre here, apparently the Sixers still waiting on word for Oubre, who has another meeting coming up. Kelly Oubre suffered an LCL injury in his knee after he hyperextended it last week. It didn't look very good, and an LCL sprain, depending on the severity, can be a week. It can be 4+ weeks, right? So he's meeting with doctors. We'll have to see there. Embiid was a full participant today. Hasn't played in a little bit over a week now. Update is expected here in just a little bit. So, of course, I'll let you know. And then Paul George, as I mentioned, came out of yesterday's game well, participated fully in practice today. So, liked what I saw out of Paul George. Again, 7 rebounds. I like that. Hitting the glass hard. He had a couple times where he drove in, kicked out, creating some points. So, once the shot starts falling, I'm excited to see what he can do in this offense as long as he plays well. I know he's getting paid to be more than just a 3-and-D hyper role player, but it's kind of just the reality of the situation for the Sixers right now. Chime in for me down in the comment section. How confident are you in Paul George moving forward? Scale it 1 through 10, 1 being you're not confident at all that Paul George can get back to the player he once was, or 10 being you have all the confidence in the world he can make a big impact for the 76ers team. Now, we're going to continue talking about this game because, again, Tyrese Maxey, the story of the day, but also some other notable performances and some NBA history being made. Been a lot of that for the Sixers so far this season. Before we get to that, though, I told you guys and I promised you that when these throwback jerseys became available, we would let you guys know and you can get your hands on these 76ers throwback jerseys, which they'll be wearing tomorrow for the game against the Toronto Raptors. Any player, any size, you go to chatsports.com/76jerseys. You see that link right below me, and you can pick up a jersey or really any jersey if you go to that link. The Sixers' new City Edition jerseys also just released. I like the design. I think it's clean. I think it's simple. VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Paul George, whoever you want. Chatsports.com/76jerseys. That link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. So, getting back now to talking about this game, man, I can't say enough good things about what Tyrese Maxey has done so far this season. And once again, he stole the show late in this game. Another near 40-point game. And, luckily in this one, he had some help in the fourth quarter where a little bit of VJ Edgecombe, a little bit of Quentin Grimes down the stretch helped to close this one out. But Maxey, after struggled a little bit in the first half, by his standards, really came alive in that second half. And, man, when you canvass the league and look at how everybody in the league is playing individually, how they're impacting their teams and helping them win, it's hard to find a player who, one, is putting up the numbers that Maxey's putting up this season. I mean, shoot, if he didn't already win a Most Improved Player award, you could argue he should be in the running once again to win that award. I mean, these numbers are ridiculous to be putting up over 32 points a game while shooting this efficiently. He's shooting almost 10 threes a night and shooting 40% from 3. It's hard to find a player impacting winning at a higher level and carrying their team like Maxey while putting up these kind of numbers. And I feel like every time we talk about Maxey, he's setting some kind of NBA record. This time, Maxey, these chat stats here, tied as the fastest player ever to reach 400-plus points and 100-plus assists in a single season, tied with Russell Westbrook during his MVP year back in 2016-2017. Now, when you look at the MVP odds, right, and where Maxey stands and all these things, he is still a long shot, according to the betting odds, to win that MVP award. Jokic is just having, once again, an absolutely unbelievable season. All these guys, right, are having great years and putting up monster numbers. But I think Maxey may be a little bit disrespected here at plus 4,000. It feels a little bit too long to me compared to some of these other odds for some of these other guys. But, man, Maxey just continues to play this well, playing big minutes. You think at some point maybe he slows down, but shoot, hasn't showed any signs of that up to this point. Want to give a lot of credit as well to VJ Edgecombe. Went through a little bit of a rough patch there the past few games. after that really, really hot start. Kind of struggled a little bit to find his shot, find his aggressiveness, find his confidence. But he's been talking to Nick Nurse a lot. Nick Nurse actually gave him a heart-to-heart conversation at halftime of this game that really helped turn things around for VJ and the Sixers, finishing with 14, 6, and 6. Again, hitting a couple big shots late. He's been pretty clutch all season long. And VJ Edgecombe as well is setting some more NBA history. We know all the rookie records he's already broken so far this season. He became the fastest player since Luka Doncic. It's crazy we're at the point now where these rookie records aren't LeBron anymore. They're going back to Luka. But first player since Luka to reach 200 points, 50 rebounds, and 50 assists in their career, doing that the fastest of any player we have seen since Luka. He's special, and that backcourt, man, is just so fun to watch. Makes the Sixers such an awesome team to be able to watch every single night. Sticking with all the history the Sixers are making, shout out to RB Philly. Love what he does, of course, on his channel. Go check him out if you haven't. Tweeted this stat out today, and I saw this, and I had to, double take because I couldn't believe this was a real stat, but from StatHead, it is legit. Last night, the Sixers recorded their 4th win of the season already when trailing by 10-plus points entering the 4th quarter. That ties the NBA single-season record for such wins for an entire year. And the Sixers only 13 games into the season. They've been an awful third-quarter team. They've been the best fourth-quarter team in the NBA. That's going to go a long way to winning these games. And if they can figure out these third-quarter issues, they can start to win games by more than just, 2 points than they have been recently. And then Quentin Grimes as well. Just everything we've seen from him this season, given the contract situation in the offseason. In this game again, so clutch. And it was both sides of the ball, right? Made a lot of shots late, and we'll get to that in a second. But defensively, James Harden was cooking the Sixers early on. In the first quarter, I think Harden had almost 20 points, right? But in the second half, Sixers made an adjustment, especially in that fourth quarter, put Grimes on Harden. He shut Harden down. That's why he's so valuable. The defense he's able to play on top of, I think, should be the 6th man of the year so far this season. He has been Mr. Clutch for the Sixers. Everyone's been great in the clutch, but Grimes especially in 9 clutch time games this year. That's when the score is within 5 points in the last 5 minutes of the game, which has, again, been nearly every Sixers game this season. Quentin Grimes is shooting 55% from the field, 42% from 3, 85% from the line. If you don't know, that is super efficient basketball from Grimes. He's setting himself up for a big payday, hopefully from the Sixers this offseason, but he has been invaluable to this team, and him stepping up defensively is even more important as we await the return of Kelly Oubre from his injury. Another great win for this 76ers team, moving 8-5. A big game tomorrow against the Raptors. We'll be live on the channel for that game, so be sure to subscribe. And, of course, follow me over on X at Jake Chipper. Anytime Sixers news drops, I'm talking about it. We should get some Embiid news here pretty soon, so I'll tweet about that. Give me a follow. Always Talking Sixers here, always Talking Sixers there, and we'll see you next time here on the show.